السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وهذا الاختلاف إذا بيعت بمثل قيمتها، فإن بيعت بأكثر من قيمتها بما لا يتغابن الناس فيه، قيل جاز التسليم بالإجماع لأنه تمحض نظرا، وقيل لا يصح بالاتفاق لأنه لا يملك الأخذ فلا يملك التسليم كالأجنبي.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أسألك سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم اشرح لنا صدورنا ويسر لنا أمورنا. اللهم يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير بك نستعين يا فتاح يا عليم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بمعرفتك واشرح صدورنا بنور كتابك وسنة نبيك واحفظنا أنزل النقطين في بيان مرادك. وصلى الله على النبي الأمي برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. So this is the concluding part of the last masala under the Shuf'a, in which he is discussing miscellaneous masail, different masail. So we were discussing that if a father or a guardian has to waiver the right of Shuf'a on behalf of their minor ward, on behalf of their minor child, this is jaiz according to Shaykhain, and Imam Muhammad Rahmatullahi says that he will be entitled to claim the shufa once the child becomes baligh. Then they mentioned that the dalil of Imam Hanif Shaykhain was that just like this is a sale, basically it's a sale. So just like how they have the right to either approve of or reject any other business proposal or business transaction, in the same way they will do the same here. The reason why we have given them wilayat and authority over the child is so that they can look for the best interest of the child. So if they feel that it's in the best interest of the child not to accept the shufa'a, then that is fine. And then they mention that if they keep quiet, that is sufficient. They don't have to verbally say that we are waiving the shufa'a on behalf of the child. Even their silence, meaning that they don't claim any the talabul mu'athara and so forth, and that is sufficient for them to for the shufa'a to be cancelled. Now he's saying وَهَذَا إِذَا بِيعَتْ بِمِثْلِ قِيمَتِهَا. This is in the case where it is being sold equal to the value of the house. فإن بيعت بأكثر من قيمتها بما لا يتغاضى الناس فيه قيل جاز التسليم. If it is being sold for more than its value, to the extent or to the more than its value, to the amount that people would not generally mind. I explained it before. Ghaban means where you pay a little more for something than it would normally be sold, but it's a little extra that you don't actually mind paying. For example, if bread is in a shop, for example, a loaf of bread goes for let's say 16, 18 rand, and you go to the garage because all the shops are closed and they're selling for 20, 21 rand, so you don't mind paying a few rands extra. Understand? Especially considering the time of night and so forth. So that's the opposite. So if it's more than its value to the extent that people generally wouldn't mind paying that amount extra, they wouldn't consider it to be a rip-off. Kila jaz taslim. Then in this instance, it is mentioned that it is permissible to forego the right of shufa bil ijma, according to all the imams. Because obviously in this case here, it's being sold for more than its value. So there's clear harm to the child. More money is being spent than is necessary. لأنه تمحص نظرا لأنهم تمحض نظرا وكيل لأن التمحض نظرا. Why? Because this is merely التمحض it is merely insight. النظر يوم insight. So this is insight into the affairs of the child. Okay? وكلا لا يصح بالاتفاق, and it is said that this is not permissible by consensus. كأنه لا يملك الأخذ فلا يملك التسليم. Why? Because he does not, the father or the guardian does not possess the right of taking, so therefore they don't possess the right of giving it up. And they don't have the right to own on behalf of the child, so therefore they don't have the right to give up the right. كالأجنبي, they're like strangers. They are like strangers in such transactions. وإن بيئت بأقل من قيمته محابة كثيرة فعن أبي حنيفة رحمه الله أنه لا يصح التسليم منهما لا يصح التسليم منهما ولا رواية أبي يوسف والله تعالى أعلم. And if it has been sold for less than its value, understand? محابة كثيرة, meaning much less than its actual value, the house which is going up for shufah. And according to Manif Rahman, in this case, it won't be permissible for the father or the wasi to forego the hakushah because it's obviously beneficial to the child. You can resell it and claim a profit from it if it's being sold for much less than its value. And there's no riwayat, meaning there's no report from Imam Abu Yusuf on his opinion in this particular masala, and Allah Ta'ala knows best. Okay. Anything you didn't understand? Any questions?
الحمد لله نستلم.
Yes, Bismillah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كتاب القسمة في الأعيان المشتركة مشروعة لأن النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام باشرها في المغانم والمواريث وجرت توارث بها من غير نكير.
Kitab al-Kisma. So we mentioned Kisma in Kitab al-Shifa quite a few times. So what is this Kisma or Qasama? So Kisma comes from al-Qasama maximum, to divide, to separate, as you know. And so the Lughui meaning means al-Ifraz. The Lughui meaning, the dictionary meaning or the linguistic meaning is Iktisam or Ifraz, to divide something or to separate something or to share something between two or more persons. In the Sharia, what does it mean? It means جمع النصيب الشاعي في معين. جمع النصيب الشاعي في معين. Simply what it means is to hand over or to grant sole ownership to a shared object. And to grant sole ownership to a shared object literally means jam or what? To gather. Jam or nasib shai, to gather a shared thing fi mu'ayyanin, in the ownership of one specific person. Right? So I'm translating as what? To grant private ownership to something which is co-shared, something which is co-owned, to a shared object. Right? So for example, now a kisma can be in anything, as we will discuss later on. Can be in movable objects and immovable objects, irrespective of whether it's makili, mawzuni, adi mutaqarib, or whether it is immovable property and whether it can actually be physically divided or not. So for example, we go to the shop and we buy, uh, we put money together and we buy 2 packets of chips. Right? The same packet of chips for the same cost, same amount, everything. Okay, even if you choose different flavors, it's not a problem, but it's the same chips, same amount, same weight, and same price, everything, right? So now we come in the shop, I say, okay, give me my packet. Okay, so that's Kisma. So one person went to buy both packets, but now we come out of the shop and you give me mine. That's my share. And because I gave money towards that, so I have, in this way we are dividing what we bought collectively into separate ownership. Your packet of chips into your hand, my packet of chips into my hand. Understood?
Sure.
Or, for example, we buy a 2-liter cold drink. Then I put money together with you and you buy a 2-liter cold drink. Now, 2-liter cold drink comes in one bottle. But you say, okay, now give me my share, I want half of it. Now I gave half the money, so I want half of it. I'm entitled to half of it. You say, no problem. So we find another container, we pour half out. 1 liter to you, 1 liter to me. Okay, so now each one has there. So we don't have to like share the bottle. Now I take a sip and you take a sip, or we take 2 straws, my straw, your straw. No, understand? We
Sure.
we pour it out 1 liter, 1 liter. There's your liter, and it's my liter. So that's Christmas. Okay,
Sure.
in simple terms. So any division of shared ownership or co-ownership between 2 or more persons, this is called kisma. Then obviously, like in immovable property, uh, there you won't be able to physically separate it in most cases. For example, if we co-purchase a house, you can't cut the house in half or build a wall through it or whatever. So in that case, some expertise is required so as to decide which half of the house belongs to me and which half of the house belongs to you. But although it's fine that we co-own the house, but it's difficult for me every time I want to do something to first check with my partner, my co-owner. So can I bring my relatives want to come over for holiday? Can I use the house? Why? Because in every inch of the house, I own and you own. I own half, you own half in every inch of the house. So the ownership is not separate as such, meaning it's not exclusive. You understand? So via kisma, via division, and via we are able to separate into private ownerships, into individual ownership. I own this piece of the house, you own that piece of the house. Follow?
Yeah.
So nice thing, al-kismatu fil a'yan al-mushtarika mashru'atun. That dividing and division, or any other word you want to use, division, separation, um, exclusive, granting exclusive ownership in shared items. So ayan, meaning any doesn't matter whether it's what type of item, any shared item, physical item, mashru'atun is permissible. Mashru'atun is the wasf. And it gives my mashru' is permissible, it's allowed by the Sharia. Okay, it's not fard, not wajib, it's permissible. Why? لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم باشر في المغانم والمواريث. Why? Because Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم himself undertook division and distribution with regards to the booty and also the inheritance of people. So a person passed away, that everything that he owns, his heirs have co-ownership in it. So Nabi Sallallahu will then divide the inheritance accordingly, according to the shares as prescribed by the Quran, quarter, 1/3, 2/3, as the case might be. وَجَرَى التَّوَارُث بِهَا مِنْ غَيْرِ نَكِيرٍ. And this continued generation after generation without any objection. ثُمَّ هِيَ لَا, now is saying that in the meaning of Kisma you find 2 meanings. Mubadala and ifraz. Okay? Exchange, mutual exchange, mubadala, and ifraz means separation, complete separation, complete division. Okay, you find both these meanings. Why? Because, like I gave you the example of the cold drink, as long as it's in a 2-liter bottle, our share is in every drop of that cold drink, 50-50. If we pay the same amount of money, right? The cold drink costs, for example, 12, and I give 6, and you give 6. So in every drop of the cold drink, I own 50% of the drop, you own 50% of the drop. Okay? So what happens is now when we separate 1 liter to you, 1 liter to me, that 50%, I'm exchanging my 50% in that other liter which I gave you for the 50% in the liter that you are giving me. Follow?
Yeah.
So there's mutual exchange taking place. I am foregoing my shared ownership in the half which you took in exchange for the half that I'm taking. So there's mutual exchange there. Or maybe a better example would be what? A better example, let's say, let's take fruit, for example. We bought fruit, just to make it a bit easy to understand. 6 apples, okay? Now, every apple is half is mine, half is yours, right? Of the 6 apples. So what we do now, we're separating, so obviously 3, 3, right? So I'm exchanging my right to the 3 apples that is going into your share in order for me to get the 3 apples that is coming into my share. So there's a mutual exchange there. مبادلة. You follow?
Yeah.
And from there also you can understand ifraz also clearly. Think ifraz is separating. You take your 3, I take my 3. You take your liter, I take my liter. So this, you find these two meanings are in the word qisma. It's very important to keep this in mind because many Masail actually built upon this. Mubadala and this ifraz. Okay, so you find these two meanings. I say what we're saying now. ولا تعرى عن معنى المبادلة. And qisma is not empty, is not void of the meaning of mutual exchange. Number 1. Why? لأن ما يجتمع لأحدهما بعده كان له وبعده كان لصاحبه. Why? Because whatever they own jointly, understand? Some of it or part of it belongs to him, and part of it belongs to his companion. فهو يأخذ عوضا عما بقي من حقه في نصيب صاحبه. So he is taking in exchange of what remains of his right. Then for the in the portion which is given to his co-owner or to his partner or his companion. Okay? Clear, right? فكان مبادلة. So this is exchange, this is mutual exchange. I'm exchanging my share. I'm exchanging what my share in your portion for his share in my portion. So the meaning of mubadala. Secondly, what ifraz, and also it's not empty of the meaning of ifraz. Ifraz means complete separation, complete division. Okay? Now he's saying shirkaya. These two meanings are not always clear in every type of kisma. In certain items, the meaning of mubadala will be more pronounced, and in certain items, the meaning of ifraz will be more pronounced. So, right. والإفراز هو الظاهر from نكيلات وموزونات. So he's saying that this meaning of ifraz, separation, is more apparent, is more obvious in weighed and measured items. لعدم التفاوت. Why? Because there's generally no difference in items which are bought by weight or by measurement. So if we jointly purchase 5 kilograms of rice, rice is rice. Every grain looks like the other. So
Yeah.
the other meaning of ifraz is seen more clearly because you are going to separate my 2.5 kilograms from your 2.5 kilograms completely. So there's clear separation, even though mubadala is taking place, but it's not so obvious as ifraz because you can walk off with your 2 kilograms in a separate bag or pack or whatever, and I will walk off with mine. And because there's no difference in one grain of rice from to the other. I won't care whether I take the top half of the bag of rice or take the bottom half of the rice. Rice is rice. You follow?
Sure.
حتى كان لأحدهما أن يأخذ نصيبه حالة غيبة صاحبه. To this extent that it will be permissible for one of the partners to take his share in the absence of his partner. And so I don't have to wait around for you. They come see now. They don't accuse me of cheating you later. I can separate the rice on my own and give him, like we do all the time. You tell the guy, okay, you know what? Just take out 1.5 kgs for myself, and I'll collect it whenever I can. Or just
Yeah.
we bought 2 bags or 2 cases or 2 cell phone covers. You take whatever. You take your one, and I'll take my one some other day. And you take whichever one you want. Same case, same style, same value, whatever. You take your one, and I'll come fetch mine tomorrow. Right?
Okay.
ولو اشترياه فاقتسماه يبيع أحدهما نصيبه مرابحة. And if they purchase it together and then they decided to divide it, to separate it, to distribute it among themselves. One of them can sell his share مرابحة for a profit, and بنصف الثمن, equivalent to half of the price that they bought it for. Okay, so I bought it for 20 rand, and I want to sell my share for 30 rand. I can do that. No, sorry. For half of the price, we bought it for 20 rand. My share is 10 rand. So I can, if I sell it for 10 rand, if I sell it for 12 rand, that's fine. Okay. I can tell the person that I am selling it to, reselling it to, that this landed me 10 rand. I'm selling it to you for 12 rand, 14 and whatever. Okay, I can't say I bought it for 20. I didn't buy it for 20 because I'm only taking half of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. ومعنى مبادلة وهو الظاهر في الحيوانات والعروض التفاعل. And the meaning of mubadala, this is more apparent, more clearly seen in things such as animals and arrows and objects. So animals and other objects which don't resemble each other. التفاوت, because they're not the same. And one sheep doesn't measure the same or doesn't look the same as another sheep. I mean, they look the same outwardly, but they got different weights and different bowls and so on and so forth. One got more wool, other got less wool, that type of thing. So yeah, mubadala can be seen more clearly, right? Because now obviously I will want to take all the fat ones. I won't want to take maybe the thinner, leaner ones, understand? And you will also want to do the same thing. So yeah, now obviously we have to go to the court, and then they'll bring about a fair separation, a fair what you call exchange. No, okay, you take one fat one and one lean one, you take one fat and one lean one. Okay, so in that way there's an exchange. Okay, I'm taking both fat ones in exchange for taking full ownership of one lean one. Okay,
Yeah.
so in measured things, makili, mawzuni things and so forth, there the meaning of ifrad is more apparent, more obvious. And in things which are different to each other, the meaning of mubadala is more obvious. But in everything, these two meanings are found. Okay, he's just saying this, by the way, so that you understand how you find these meanings or how you find these transactions happening. Now I say, but because of this difference in things, حتى لا يكون لأحدهما أخذ نصيبه من غيبة الآخر. It's not permissible for one of the two partners to take his portion or his share in the absence of the other, because obviously it's going to lead to an unfair division. You will want to be there to see that you also get a fair share. And I'm not taking all the good stuff and leaving you with all the lean stuff, in the case, for example, of the sheep, for example, instead.
Yeah.
So here, both partners must be present so there can be a fair division of the items. ولو اشترى فاقتسما لا يبيع أحدهما نصيبه مرابحة بعد قسمته. And if they were both to purchase it jointly and then separated, it will not be permissible for one of them to sell his share مرابحة for profit after قسمة. Okay. إلا أن إذا كانت من جنس واحد, unless if it is from one type. If it is sheep, all sheep, then it's fine, then I can do that. But if it's different things like sheep and cows or sheep and camel, then you can't do that. And then because although they are both what you call this, although they're sold by number, their purpose is different. The purpose of a sheep is different to that of a camel or a cow. And so here it will be very hard for me to say, okay, give me the cow and you can take the sheep, or give me the camel and you take the sheep. Because I may want to take benefit from both those things. I want to use the sheep for its wool and the cow for its milk, for example. So that will be very, very difficult to do. So did I miss something? إلا أن إذا sorry, I think I missed. Yeah. إلا أن إذا كان من جنس واحد أجبر القاضي على القسمة إن الطلب أحد sorry. Unless if it is from one genes, the qadi can force the other partner to divide and to separate ownership. In the طلب أكثر أحد شركاء when one of them demands so. Understand? So if it is, although it is they different from each other, if it is one genes, all sheep, the one partner can go to court and force the other partner, even though he doesn't want to, have the court force that partner to have separate ownership. You follow? If it is one genes, okay. If it's different genes, like explain now, cow and sheep, then that's the cow they can't do that. How are you going to do that? I said, because how are you going to give the cow, for example, to one partner and the sheep to the other? I said, that's not going to work. They're not going to be happy with that. Why? Because each of these animals, they have their own purpose. So there's no way for the judge to force the other partner to take one of the two. So how are they going to do that? Unless, of course, they come to some kind of agreement. The one is willing to give up his right. And that's a different story. But you can't force the other partner if the other partner doesn't want to divide his share in the cow, for example, in the sheep. He can't be forced to do so. Okay? لأن في معنى الإفراز لتقارب المقاصد. Why? Because when there's one genes, then the meaning of separation is found in it. Why? Because although they are different, the purpose of the sheep is the same. Then the benefit that you get from the sheep is the same, one sheep to the other, even though, understand, they might be different as far as weight and whatever else is concerned. والمبادلة مما يجري في جبر كما في قضاء الدين. And in mubadala, mutual exchange, is from amongst those concepts in which you can force a person to do something, as in the case of paying off debts. Just like how a person owes money, he can be forced to sell his property to pay off his creditors. So in the same way here, because you are owing your partner his share, he can be forced to do the exchange so that the partner gets his share of what he owns. Then he's got ownership. You follow?
Okay.
Okay, we'll stop there, inshallah. Any question, anything you didn't understand?
I just didn't understand that part of him not able to sell his share for a profit.
Okay, I'll explain it tomorrow, inshallah. Okay.
Inshallah.
I mean, inshallah, right?
Inshallah.
جزاك الله. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك، سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك، أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت